Hello, everyone. We're continuing our session of conferences with experts from different countries. Today we have the respected Marzieh Razavi from Iran, who has kindly joined us. She's a brilliant expert in linguistics and has agreed to provide us with answers to questions about the Persian language. Good morning, dear professor. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Good morning, dear Amina. Thank you so much for actually inviting me to your interview. I'm so happy to meet you, and I can just I'm ready to answer your question here.
We're glad to hear from you. So we'll start with the first question. So my question is, would you please tell us a bit about Persian language to know this language better?
Yes, sure. Actually, we can start with the language family of Persian. That you must know that Persian is a very important language of the Middle East and Central Asia. That is part of the Indo-Iranian branch of Indo-European language family. It is natively spoken by Iranians, primarily Iranian plateau. Iranian languages are classified into three actually stages. We can call as the first one is the old Iranian, that is until 400 BC. Then we have Middle Iranian between 400 to 900 BC, and Neo-Iranian after 900 BC. So one interesting fact about Persian is that it's among those four world classical languages, including Greek, Sanskrit, Latin, and the Persian enjoys one of the oldest and most complete language culture in the world. Another, statistical fact about Persian is that it's spoken by 120 million people globally. Of those, over 70 million speak it as their native language, and that makes it, which actually gives it the rank of 20 among the most widely spoken first language. And another 50 million speak it as their second language. And another statistical fact is that it is the third spoken languages in the Middle East, and the 12th one in Asia. So Persian, it is actually known as Farsi too. That is the official language in three countries, um, namely Iran, Tajikistan, and Afghanistan. And historically, the areas where the language is spoken range from the Middle East to India, but today Persian is understood in parts of Armenia, India, Iraq, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, even Turkmenistan and Turkey. And it is interesting to know that Iranians have a strong community. Actually, major cities of the world, like New York, Australia, Vancouver, Paris, London. And as maybe my final point here is that Persian is a very poetic, soft, song-like language. And it is described as one of the most beautiful languages of the world. If you study Persian, it provides you actually provides an entry to a rich and diverse culture that produced major epic and Sufi poets like Ferdowsi, Rumi, like Hafez, and also exquisite miniature paintings, fine carpets, and world-class field. So I think that is actually good to know the language because of those feedback. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your response. Overall, Persian is a language with a rich history, with a significant cultural impact in the Middle East and beyond. But given the Arabic, Persian, and several other languages share an Arabic-based script, there is a potential confusion among people who may perceive them as identical. Therefore, I would like to inquire, are Arabic and Persian two different languages? And what are key differences between them?
Actually, yes, as you said, Persian Arabic, both written in a variety of, same alphabet. There are two distinct languages because Arabic belongs to Semitic or Afro-Asiatic language, while Persian is, as it is mentioned before, Indo-Iranian branch of the European language family, and its relatives are the languages of northern India and most more distantly the major European languages like English. It shows that there are different languages. And one important thing that I would like to mention here is actually regarding the alphabet. That know that okay, they are written to some extent the same way. And if you browse the internet, search on the sites, you see that it's written Persian alphabet comes from Arabic. I would like to actually invite people who are interested in Persian alphabet to just search more and find the answer of this question in more reliable written source books. Because if you want to talk about it scientifically and based on some evidences, if it back in history, based on some archaeological evidences, there is no doubt that Arab in the areas of Hijaz didn't know writing, since not a single writing sample found in the region, and till today there is no sign of writing the literacy in the region. So I suppose to get a clear answer to this question, it needs actually to have more reliable sources to find our questions regarding the matter that whether Persian alphabet comes from Arabic or not. And I would like to refer those who are interested in that to the article written by Pour Moslemi, Dr. Pour Moslemi, who actually will have some, points over this matter.
Thank you very much for your response. Now I yield the floor to my colleague Batyrzhan Shindauletov.
Hi, Professor. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, dear.
And my question is, are the difference between spoken and written Persian, and what are the specific features of the Persian writing system that distinguish it from the writing system of other languages?
Okay, thank you for your question. Actually, I would like to just think of this question. First of all, I mean, look at it in general. A language in spoken and written forms has a wide range of usage, and neither form is unitary. For example, we do not speak to a friend in the same way that we speak we speak to an engineer. Likewise, there are differences among the kinds of written languages regarding personal letters or essays, poetry, and so on. These varieties of discourses within each category can be, considered by levels of usage, and no single version of either written or spoken forms would be appropriate to all these contexts. And Persian is a language that distinguishes many levels of usage in, regarding the, formal register. That, for example, we can use different pronouns, differential word forms, and even, honorific forms of, let's say, address. For example, a very simple inquiry, like how are you, can be expressed at a half dozen levels of formality in both written and spoken form. So if we go back to your question that there is or there are differences among between the two forms, written and spoken version, yes, there is a big difference actually. Based on researchers, Persian, like Arabic, can be considered the diglossic, a diglossic language, of course, in a lesser or minor extent, because you can see active, unexpected differences in both between written and spoken forms, in relation to all four major areas. I mean, major areas of phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics. So, spoken Persian, what we should consider is that spoken Persian shouldn't be seen as a version or dialect of Persian, but as a level of usage in terms of the social functions of the language. So this is actually based on this is the viewpoint of some of the researchers, Iranian research, who worked the spoken form of the language Persian. And written Persian has the function of actually the series lectures and sermons, let's say news readings in the media, or newspaper editorials, and the like. We may consider a notable change of language in when, for example, a broadcaster stops reading the news and starts talking to a reporter out of the studio. So that's why we can say that we don't have a written text of spoken Persian, at least dating back more than 100 or 1 century ago. I said that we can find differences between the two forms regarding phonology, morphology, and semantics. Just to be a bit detailed about this matter, we can just consider the phonological alternation. Why we have differences? Because there are, vowel changes, vowel harmony, vowel deletions, actually consonant deletions, syllable deletions, or non-syllabic cluster deletions, and also insertion. So all of these are the issues that the spoken language or Persian differ from Tan regarding the phonological point of view. So I suppose you had a second question, that what distinguishes Persian writing system from other languages writing system, right? Okay, I mentioned 4, important features. Some of which are common with Arabic language. The first thing is that you must know that Persian is written, and regarding the direction, Persian is written from right to left. And the second thing is that the letters are connected to each other, and the letters mostly can be read by having or using dots. We have a lot of dots, our alphabet. And one thing that can be a bit different from Arabic is that we don't use vowels, short vowels, for our Eurasian language. That's why it might make it a bit difficult for non-Persian speakers who are learning Persian to read, text, Persian text, because they can't find the vowels, letters, and it will be a bit difficult for them. So these four elements, actually, are the four important features of Persian writing system, actually.
So thank you for such enlightening information, and I give the stage to Zhakiya.
Hello, Marzieh Hanum.
Hello.
My name is Zhakiya, and I've been curious of asking one question for you. And so, from your point of view, what do you think that why should we start learning Persian, and what opportunities it can bring for Kazakh people, especially?
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. Why we should learn Persian? Actually, Persian as it's today is much more influenced than we may think. There are some reasons, actually, I can mention here, is that actually one of the reasons that many of us are transported to an ancient place with amazing architecture and culture when we hear the word Persian is the fact that there was once an amazing empire that used the exact adjectives to describe itself. So the influence of Persia extended beyond what we know as Iran today, So the influence of Persian actually, I said, is beyond today Iran. If we want to refer to some researches from 1526 till 1857, with some small break in between, a huge part of the Indian subcontinent was part of the Mongol Empire, which was ruled over by Persianate dynasty. Though not Persian themselves, Bahur and other famous leaders were strongly influenced by Persian language as well as its culture. Another reason can be related to its mark on a number of other languages. Actually, since Persian had such a strong presence in India for such a long time, it's no wonder that many languages native to India and the countries around, or the neighboring countries, picked up more than actually a few words over time. And the languages that show the most Persian influence are Armenia, Hindi, Urdu, Bengali, and Turkish, other languages. And another thing is that Persian's relationship with Arabic has always been interesting, with words from both languages being used interchangeably at one point in history. They have greatly influenced each other, in such a way that we can't say which one influenced the other more. And it has also influences on some, European language, French and English. For example, it is interesting to know that the words like pijama, shawl, bazaar, caravan, they all come from Persian, or they originate from Persian. Another important thing is about the literature. You must know that actually the Persian literature is among the world's most ancient literature, going back to 2,500 years to the time of the Persian Empire. Persian literature has influenced so many other literatures in the world that is impossible. That actually it is impossible to talk about, prose, poetry, tragic love stories without mentioning several Iranian authors and poets. For example, you must know that the most famous literary figures, for example, like Shakespeare, they might be inspired by Iranian, epic poetry and prose. They, just plays that they use them in their plays. And another important thing is that Persian poetry and literature are well known worldwide, which is a great motivation for learning it, because it's one of the foundations of the history of literature. And we can know that literary figures such as Rudaki, Ferdowsi, Omar Khayyam, Hafiz, Sa'di, Rumi, Nizami Ganjari, all of them have their poems Persian. So if you are interested to, read their works and to understand them very well, it is needed to learn the language, because actually, as my personal experience, when I read their poems, for example, Hafiz's poems translation in English, really doesn't give me the same sensation or the same feeling that I will get from Persian. That's why, and that Persian is one of those, as it is mentioned, of those classical languages which is really rich in vocabulary. So if you want to get the true feeling of what is mentioned in their poems or poetry, you need to learn Farsi. And also another point is that it is the language of Iranian scholars and scientists who are known, well known worldwide, like Omar Khayyam, like Abu Rayhan, like Nasiruddin Tusi, and many more, figures. So I think they are all reasons, especially for the students whose major are one of those, history, linguistic, literature. So a good reason and motivation for them to learn the language. And as for your second question, for Kazakh people, again, actually, it is mentioned that there are more than 3,006 words which are common among the two languages, and most of them actually came from Persian to Kazakh. Just put it aside, I suppose there is also another important thing for Kazakh people to know Persian. Iran or Persian language, or let's say Iran, as that is the cradle of one of the most ancient civilizations, is important for Kazakhstan from the point of view of getting access to handwritten historical sources to illuminate unknown pages of its history. So unfortunately, ignorance of language, the lack of a sufficient number of specialists in Kazakhstan and scientists who know Persian, actually, and speak Persian, it is created by the lack of a complete understanding of Kazakh people about the art, culture, and tradition of Iran. Actually, if I want to talk about my personal experience, the first time that I was in Kazakhstan to teach Persian, I've heard from many students that they suppose Persian is Arabic, and they thought Iranian are Arab, and their language is the same language, Arabic. And so we are two countries so close to each other with a long-lasting, history. But unfortunately, nowadays we have a very, just little understanding cultures and language, or other things like that. So I think it is good, at least if um, uh, my student or other people know that actually these are two languages. Persian is not Arabic, Iranians are not Arab, and we should distinguish the two languages. Yeah. So, that's it. That's my point.
Thank you for your response. And I can surely say that for Kazakh people, it would be much more easier, as you mentioned that there are over 3,000 loan words from Persian language. It's so interesting to know about the Persian culture, about the connection of two cultures, two nations. So thank you for your dedicated time.
My pleasure, dear.
Thank you.
Thank you from you. Thank you so much for inviting me to your interview. That was my pleasure.
So, dear Marzieh Razavi, your expertise and knowledge about Persian language and Persian culture have been invaluable to us. So, we deeply appreciate your contribution to our education. We hope that in future have another opportunity to discuss more topics with you. Thank you very much for your time and knowledge. And then we are concluding our session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, dear Amina. That's also my pleasure to be in your interview. I hope I could just provide you with very little information about Persian, and I hope it will be informative for your listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you.